Good evening everyone, my name is Usagi.
I'm Zunda.
Tonight, I'll be sharing some true Japanese scary stories.
What kind of scary story is waiting for us this time?
The stories I'm about to tell include Malfunctioning Elevator, and 3 other short tales. They're all really scary, so brace yourself.
Has everyone used the bathroom before we start the scary stories?
You too. Anyway, let's get started with the story.
Okie dokie.
Could you tell me the way? A tall woman approached me in a dimly lit alley at dusk. Her legs were unnaturally thin, trembling as if they could barely support her weight. Her arms were just as slender, like twigs, and she was holding a bright red handbag. She kept letting out these breathy sighs, or maybe it was her breathing, I couldn't really tell. Even though she was asking me for directions, her gaze was fixed in an entirely different direction. Where are you trying to go? I asked, my voice wavering. She seemed really off. I decided to give her an answer quickly and leave as soon as possible. 119-4201, Kaidan Town. That was my apartment address. Even the room number was a perfect match. I don't know. I genuinely wanted nothing to do with her, so I replied that way. The woman then bowed deeply, so much so that it looked like her spine might snap, and she wobbled away into the depths of the alley. Zunda, your mouth is open, are you okay?
It's way too scary right from the start. Was that woman even human? Or was she a ghost?
I don't know. But either way, I definitely wouldn't want to run into her.
Same here.
Next, I'll tell a story called The Door Chime Calls.
I wonder who came to visit?
It was a humid summer evening, and I was taking a nap on the 2nd floor of my house. Someone came by. I was the only one home, and I didn't feel like dealing with it, so I ignored it and kept sleeping. The doorbell kept ringing at a steady rhythm for a while. Who could it be? So persistent. Who's here? I quietly peeked out the window of my room on the 2nd floor to check the entrance. There was a woman, about 40 years old, wearing a white outfit. Standing next to her was a little girl in matching white clothes and a straw hat. It seemed like they were the ones ringing the doorbell. What a hassle, I thought. I figured I might as well answer, so I went downstairs and opened the door. But no one was there. They must have left already. I even bothered to get up. I decided to go back to sleep and lay down in my room again. Then, the doorbell rang once more. I looked out the window, and there they were again, that woman and her child. What is going on? I stormed downstairs, furious. The doorbell kept ringing steadily the entire time. I flung open the front door, ready to yell at them. But no one was there. The doorbell had been ringing right up until I opened the door. There was nowhere to hide. No matter how fast they were, I would have seen them since my house is at the end of a straight path. As I stood there dumbfounded for a moment, the doorbell rang again, even though no one was in front of the intercom. I dashed back into the house, locked the door, closed the curtains in my room, and crawled into bed, trembling. The doorbell kept ringing for a while after that. There was no way I could bring myself to look down at the entrance from the window again. The next morning, my mother woke me up. You got a letter. Looks like it's from a woman, she said with a smirk. She had found it while picking up the newspaper. The envelope was white with no name on it. How did she even know it was from a woman? I opened it anyway, and in neat handwriting, it simply said,
"Something is trying to enter your house."
What was trying to get into the house?
Most likely, something not so good.
I'll just turn off the power to my intercom.
I hope that solves the problem. The next story is called Malfunctioning Elevator.
I've experienced an elevator malfunction myself.
Really? Were you okay?
I really had to go to the bathroom at the time, and it was a big problem.
That's definitely a serious situation. I work in elevator maintenance and repair. One day, I received a call that the elevator at a hospital had broken down and stopped. I left immediately, but by the time I arrived, 2 hours had passed. When I reached the site, a crowd had gathered. A nurse was reportedly trapped inside the elevator. "Are you okay?" I called out, and a frightened woman's voice responded, "Please get me out of here. Hurry!" I could hear her pounding on the door. "Hang on. I'll get you out right away," I assured her as I laid out my tools and got to work. "Step away from the door," I shouted. "Hurry, hurry, hurry!" She screamed frantically. "Get away from the door," I shouted again. The door was being pounded on wildly from the inside. This wasn't normal. Was she in a panic? The people around me exchanged uneasy glances. The director, unable to stand it any longer, approached the door and yelled, "Step away from the door. It's dangerous." "I'm away. I'm not hitting the door." The woman's voice was almost a scream. "I can't see anything in the dark. But there's something in here with me." A chill ran down my spine. Then what on earth is pounding on the door right now? I forced myself not to think about it and worked as quickly as possible. When the door finally opened, the nurse was huddled in the corner, crouched and crying. She later said that after the lights went out, she felt the presence of something standing in the darkness with her. The presence grew stronger, and by the time I arrived, the elevator was filled with them.
Wait, she wasn't the one banging on the door?
It seems that way.
Then who was pounding on the door?
What would you do if you were in the same situation as in this story?
I'd probably panic, scream, and start pounding on the door right along with whatever it is.
That sounds like it would be a very noisy place. The next story is called, The Mannequin's Warning.
Why are mannequins in dark places so creepy?
They look like they might start moving.
Is this a story where the mannequins attack?
No, they don't move.
Then it's not scary.
It's very scary.
Eek!
I live in the countryside, so when mushroom season comes around, I often go to the woods behind my house to pick them. When I was in elementary school, my grandpa would show me the best spots, and we'd go together. But by the time I was in middle school, I started going by myself or with friends. That day was a Sunday, so I went with a friend. We were doing well and had gathered a lot of mushrooms when we decided it was time to head back. Suddenly, my friend screamed and collapsed on the spot. I thought he might have cut his leg on a branch, something that happens often, but he was looking up. So I looked up too. There were 2 bodies hanging from the trees. When you're truly shocked, you can't even scream. I started backing away, completely panicking, unable to do anything. But after a while, I realized the bodies weren't real, they were mannequins. What a sick joke! I muttered angrily. My friend and I hurried down the mountain, explained what we saw to my dad, and the 3 of us returned with a stepladder, a hatchet, and pruning shears to get rid of the mannequins. My dad climbed the ladder while my friend and I held it steady. He quickly cut the ropes around the mannequins' necks, and we decided to take them to our shed to dispose of them. To avoid any misunderstandings, we thought it would be best to break them apart before throwing them away, so they wouldn't look human. We started by stripping the shabby clothes off the mannequins. Then we saw it. Written in large red letters on the stomach of one of the mannequins was, "The person who takes down this mannequin will die." Everyone froze in place. But when my dad stripped the dress off the other mannequin, a female one, there was writing on its stomach too. "The person most loved by the one who takes down this mannequin will die." My dad calmed my friend and me, who were still frozen in fear, and told us to go buy some juice. While we were gone, he broke both mannequins into pieces and disposed of them. Since then, that incident has been a taboo subject between my dad, my friend, and me.
Whoever hung those mannequins has terrible taste.
That's way too much, even for a prank.
Do you think they were trying to cast some kind of curse?
Maybe. I just hope the person who wrote this story is still alive and well. Alright, let's call it a day. Zunda, what did you think of the stories this time?
They were all about ghosts whose identities were unknown.
That's common in Japanese scary stories. I really like that aspect.
I want to hear more of them.
Sure? I'll call you again when I have more scary stories to tell. Subscribe to the channel. That way, we can meet again in the next video.
See you later, alligator.